So in this section, I'm going to show you the difference between anticipatory trades versus reactionary trades. So anticipatory trades means to get an early entry before the market actually makes a move, right? And a reactionary trader is responding to confirmation of the market moving. So let me show you an example of this. Over here, you can see that we were in the process of forming an ascending trend line, right? We had a little bit of a dump right here, and then it bounced, and then it kind of retested this trend line and kind of went sideways for several days. Not a lot of action happening here. This could have been a good early entry for an anticipatory trade, right? You don't have any confirmation that the market will move in a direction that's favorable to you, but it's a nice early entry, so you can just kind of scale in partial size. It's nice early entry because it's following this trend line, right? And if you were to look at something like a Fibonacci retracement, you could also see that it happens to line up closely to the 50% retracement area, right? So that would be an anticipatory trade. And then afterwards, the market moves up and you've got confirmation that you're in a good trade. So that can be one entry. And let's say that went against you and it didn't work out and that trend line breaks, well, you could just kind of set your stop and get out of the trade, right? So you could have one entry here, and then you have a reactionary trade, which would be catching a breakout. So let's say you held that trade for a few months, or if you just bought Bitcoin on spot, for example, buying the dip, that'd be a good place to buy. A reactionary trade is, all right, the market's made a move and now you're responding to the markets, right? You see that there's some momentum happening here. It broke out of this larger ascending triangle consolidation pattern and you can react to it, right? So you have a little bit more confirmation. Now, it's a later entry, so you pay for confirmation, but there's a higher probability once you have confirmation, right? Whereas here, you don't know if you don't have confirmation yet, right? It could still break down. That might not hold up. And you don't have to do one or the other. You could actually do both, right? So if you wanted to perhaps build a position size, you can start scaling in here and then wait for confirmation of the breakout. Now, obviously, if you were in a margin trade, you probably wouldn't want to just buy on margin and then pay fees for several months. But if you were just buying Bitcoin on spot, for example, and you wanted to, let's say, sell on the next leg up, then this would be generally a good area to scale in on. So that's pretty much the difference between anticipatory and reactionary. In both instances, you still have to manage risk. They both come with their pros and cons, and you don't have to choose one or the other. You could actually take the middle path and do both. So that's it for this lesson. We'll see you in the next. Cheers.